We've done some really good work so far. We've been messing around with a lot of these Docker commands. We've been typing a lot of them into terminal. I do think it's a good thing to practice this, get used to these Docker commands, the Docker images, Docker container, or Docker PS, Docker stop, prune, build, run. Like these are really important commands to know. Yes, it's good using Docker desktop. However, you can't access that all the time in some other environments in a remote server. You're going to need to be able to do this through the terminal. And so it's good to get this practice in. As you've noticed while we're doing this, is quite tedious, like the back and forth, checking, all of that. And the build and the run commands in particular are quite long commands. In our particular setup, what I wanted to do is just create some convenient NPM scripts that we can use just to make this a bit easier to manage. So if we head on back over to our code base, what I want to do is we've left this console log in here from our previous test that we did. I'm just going to remove that. Hit save there. In our package.json, where we've got our npm scripts, I'm going to start working on the scripts that we want to do. So I think let's think about, we're going to need something for a build. We'll need something for run. And then maybe let's include one more to stop. And I just need to put a comma there at the end of the start dev just to get rid of that syntax error. And so those are the basic commands that we want. I think just to make this a bit more specific, let's just prepend this with a Docker colon, just to make it clear that this is a Docker command. And then let's begin filling this out. So in order to build our Docker image, we use that command. It was Docker build and then -t. And then the next item that we need there is to name our image, my app, and we'll say Express API. And just excuse my spelling error there, so just make sure you spell that correctly. And then we just need to put the tag there, which would be latest dev, and then don't forget about your period at the end there, which is the last command that you need. All right, and then obviously just make sure you saved your work. And then head on over to a terminal, and then we can say npm run docker :build. And then you'll see the command that we've set up here gets executed. So it's exactly the same as if we had to just run it ourselves, just a bit quicker for us to do. We can do a docker images, and we'll see we've got that image that is running. So that's all good. The next command we can set up is the run. So we'll say docker run, and then we'll say my app /express API, and we'll just put on the tag there. That will be latest dev, and that's all we need to run. If I say npm run docker run, we've executed that docker run command, which has then started up our container, and you can see we no longer have that console log which we deleted. It's got the latest version of our app there. That's all looking good. And then the last npm script that we wanted to set up here is the stop. So that'll just be docker stop, and then we need to figure a way out of using an ID or a name here, and so we don't have that at this point in time. But let's just test that out and see what it does. So we can say npm run docker stop. You can see it needs to have at least one argument. So we'll just do a docker ps get the ID. We'll kill that container ourselves. So we'll say docker stop. You can put in that ID, and once that's done, we can say docker container prune just to get rid of that. You'll see our server's been stopped, so I'm just going to give us some more space here. And then we're just going to have to adjust our docker run command here, and then we're going to put in this name, and then we'll just use the name here API, because that's kind of what we're running. And so I'm going to click save. In the docker stop command, we can then reference the API name that we have then created here. So if we test this out, we can say npm run docker run, and then you'll see it has created that container which has started up. And if we wanted to do docker, then we can say npm run docker stop, and once it's outputted the name of the container and stopped, you'll see that the server has been closed down. And if we do a docker ps, there's nothing running, and we do a docker ps -a, we'll see that we've got that container which is exited. So we can quickly then just clean that up with a prune, and that container has been removed. With that, I think We've got some more scripts that we've set up, and that's looking good. Just to let you know, this is like halfway through our Docker configuration. There's a lot more we want to cover and just make this like super easy and convenient for us. As I've mentioned before, I think this is really important to go through the process of doing this, just to kind of understand the ins and outs of Docker and getting used to how it works. And so we're kind of building up this knowledge in a foundational way. So good job so far. We've done a lot of good work. We'll close this lesson off and we'll pick it up in the next one. Cheers for now.